Hello, legit KidLit viewers. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Tiffany.
And I'm
We,
Berry.
hi Barry. We love graphic novels, and so do our students.
And today we welcome Berrie Torgan-Randall, KidLit illustrator of the early reader graphic novel Belle and Blue. I was so excited when I saw your book.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us about yourself and your story?
Sure. So I am coming to you from outside of Philadelphia in the suburbs. So go Eagles and for the Super Bowl tomorrow. And I am an author illustrator. I've been an author illustrator for about um, 10 years professionally, and I'm also a librarian. So that's kind of I work with kids, and then I also when I'm not working, then I'm working on my artwork and my writing. And so this is my first early reader graphic novel called Bella and Blue, and it's about a young girl. She's 8, and she has suffers from anxiety, so she worries about everything. And so her grandmother and her little dog Blue, and I don't know, there it is. I have my stuffed animal Blue right there,
Oh,
based on my character. Um, and so um, what makes it a graphic novel is it has these speech bubbles right here. And so Bella, it's 3 chapters. So it's an early chapter book as well. And let's see. Um, I don't know what else I can say about my book. It has a special section in the back here where you can learn how to draw um, blue.
oh, so cute.
Thank you. Let's see.
Oh
And
well,
the books that I like, the book that I really influenced me to write this book was a book from my childhood, which is Harry the Dirty Dog. I
yes.
read that book as a kid. And just the illustrations are just really sweet. And he's kind of looks like I kind of look like my dog, my Blue. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so that was one of my mentor texts that I used when I was drawing. And originally my publisher wanted to just use 2 colors. She wanted to just have it black and white. But I said,
Hmm.
kids are not going to pick it up if it's just black and white. So I convinced her to use um, the blue in the book, the color blue.
Yeah. I do like graphic novels that are simplistic like that, but I like when there's just like one splash of color. So I think that was a good choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Well, your drawings are so cute. Do you want to walk us through drawing one of the characters?
sure, yeah. So let's see. Oh, I have some pictures of. You asked me about pictures of what I drew when I was a kid.
Yes, yeah.
So I don't have my like early stuff. I don't know what happened to that. It just kind of gets lost in the weeds there, cleaning up. But I do have these illustrations of animals that I drew, and I was a kid, but I think I was more like middle school age. Um, and this is like pen and ink and maybe some colored pencils, and so that's how I used to draw. It's not that
Perfect.
much different than how I draw.
Yeah, they're cute. They're realistic but fun.
Yeah. And I started out by making these little cartoons characters, and I would put it on Facebook and Instagram. And so these two brother and sister are named. This is Lola. Lola's over here she's the older sister, and then there's a little brother named Louis. And so I used to make
Hmm.
these cartoons every I did it once a month, and I would make these little books, like tiny little books that I would give out to my
Yeah.
students.
That's adorable.
Yeah, and then so they're just a piece of paper, and then I cut it. I did a cartoon, and then I cut it and made it a
Oh my
book.
goodness.
Yeah,
Just a piece of paper. It's like very intricate.
yeah, and then so that I was doing that once a month for my cartoons, and then it got a little bit too much, so then I started doing it seasonally. So then that's when it got to be, this size. And this is what I would hand out to conferences, to agents and editors, and to my students. And so that's how I started writing stories. Was that way.
That's so cool.
Mhm. And I also have some, a book doesn't actually, start like this. You need a script, and you need sketches, and you need all sorts of prep before that it actually looks like these final illustrations. So I found in my studio is one of my early thumbnail sketches. So thumbnail sketches are just tiny little drawings of one of my chapters.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and so you can see they're just so loose. I mean, they're just not
Mm-hmm.
much of anything, little stick figures. And then the storylines kind of under here, so that I can work out where everything's placed and how everything works out. So yeah, I have quite a few of these for each chapter, and I would just cut them out. I really like cutting and pasting things. And so I just cut them out, and then and work it out on here before you get to before you do your final drawings.
Mm-hmm.
And I
That's so
do,
interesting.
I work on a program called Procreate, which is like, it's a computer program. I used to do, and I still do some watercolor for my comics and inking. And now I'm all computerized.
Yeah.
It's a lot of drawings for doing it by hand. But
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Apple Pencil and Procreate and my iPad.
Yeah. That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. And let's see. You asked me about my process, and I did this little brochure. It's all about how I work, like how do I get my ideas. So I only give myself about 8 minutes to think of an idea, and so I'll brainstorm. So on here it has in my sketchbook. So this was a cartoon that I did in the spring, and so I just for 8 minutes I set my timer, and I don't look at the timer, and I just write down all the things that I can think of for spring. This says flowers, trees, blooms, water, ice, blah, blah, blah. It's got all these things. Just 8 minutes of a whole brain dump of ideas. And then when I find an idea that I like in those 8 minutes, and then I circled it. So I circled puddles and a dandelion bouquet and baby chicks and wellies, like little rain boots. My son used to wear those
Yeah.
boots. And then I would pick a theme of what I wanted Lola and Louie to do for that day or for that cartoon. And then here I have all these tiny little sketches. They're just really loose. They don't look like the final cartoon at all. It's just ideas.
Mm.
With the three panels, I had to do a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that's all you had for your story.
Mm.
So it's quick.
Yeah.
And then I would draw more finalized sketches, or just see what the position, how I wanted the story to go. And then for the end, it would look like this. So this is one of my cartoons. This is on one of my cartoons on my website. And then I would turn it into one of those little mini books, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like this one. Let's see. This one is about. Oh, so this was Lola's birthday.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's really how I started out. And then I developed a portfolio and really worked hard on my portfolio and sent my artwork to different agents and publishers and different art directors. And in children's publishing, there's a lot of rejection. But then I got lucky. I got really lucky, and the publisher who published Bella and Blue, she really liked my portfolio, and she said, "Well, let's write a book together." So she originally wanted me to write a book about a little girl and a monkey, and I said, "Well, I don't really want kids to think that they can have monkeys as pets."
Yeah.
He said, "I will write you a book about a girl and her therapy dog because her publishing company does social emotional books." And so then that's how Bella and Blue came to be an early reader chapter book.
That's great. I
Yeah.
love that. So that's kind of how you chose to create that early reader graphic novel?
Yeah, she had the idea for the early reader graphic novel, and she really liked unicorn and yeti books, and I had like Princess Pink, like all these Branches books are really great for early reader graphic novels. And there's unicorn libraries. I mean, they're just fabulous. And so these books really help kids start out with the whole chapter book, learning to read chapter books because they're so anxious to be like their older siblings or their older friends, and they just want to have that little chapter book in their hands, and sometimes they're just not ready for it. So the graphic novel genre really gets them to practice reading and to feel confident in their reading, and they're fun, and they're really fun, and they're so clever, and they're just so fun to write too. There's one that I recently found is The Diary of a Pug, and this is so cute, and just something that this has both speech bubbles, and then it also has the text up here. So my next, well, actually, Bella and Blue is a series, so there'll be another one coming out.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably I'll start working on it in October, and then it will be out a couple of years later. This industry takes a long time for it to. But in the meantime, I'm writing another series that I'm trying to get attention from a publisher or an agent on a little girl and her purple cat. So I like animals that have different colors besides the actual tabbies and stripes and stuff like that. So
That sounds cute.
yeah.
Well, as a librarian, I know that kids absolutely love graphic novels, at least the ones that my schools do. And then, like you said, a lot of the younger ones, they want to read even some of the older graphic novels, but it's a little bit too much for them. And so really having those early reader graphic novels is so important. So I was
Yes.
really excited when I saw, your website and everything, because that's exactly what's needed. So thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm subbing in a middle school right now, and it's amazing how much graphic novels
Oh, yeah.
you can't keep them on the shelf, and we keep
No.
on purchasing them, and they're just
Yeah.
amazing, and they're an amazing way for artists to put their story out there too. The story of Bella is my daughter suffers from anxiety. She gets nervous. She's always been really nervous about new situations. So this is, in a way, it's a little bit of her story. It's a little bit of like, especially the ballet chapter that I have in there. I mean, years and years of ballet. And so I just wanted to write a chapter about, not always being successful in ballet. And I tell all the kids this funny story about my sister and I took ballet class when we were little, and the instructor was very strict, and she wanted your uniform a certain way. And we were pretty little, like my sister was probably 5 and I was about 4 or 3. And if you had your underwear showing underneath your tights, you got a little sticker on your on your bottom. So my sister, who's like the older sister, the older sister is usually the ones that, likes everything perfect. So of course she didn't have any stickers on her bottom, but I have plenty of stickers on my bottom.
That's funny.
That's not in the book, but
Yeah.
maybe if she goes back to ballet class, then we'll put that chapter in.
Now, do you have, sorry,
That's
I
good.
was just going to ask, do you have any hidden talents?
I do. So I was thinking about that, and I do this thing I call an owl eye. So I can wink my one eye, while holding the other eye open. So wait, let me see if I can. It's funny when you look at yourself in the camera. It's like, no, that's not
Yeah.
your eye.
Oh my goodness.
That's my hidden talent. That and laughing really hard in movie theaters,
Oh,
really, like people turn around because if something's funny, I just really laugh. So my owl eye, and then laughing really hard are my hidden talents.
I like the
Love
owl
it.
eye. So we've already heard one, memory from your childhood. What's an embarrassing school memory that you have?
So I thought about this one too, and when this is more when I was in the upper grades, like high school, and so I went out to my locker. My friend was with me, and it was between classes, and I had on a skirt, and I was wearing clogs at that time, and so I leaned down to get something out of my locker, and I stepped on the edge of my skirt, and so when I stood up, my skirt didn't go with me.
Oh no.
Yes, so I was really lucky that it was just my best friend in the whole wide world was there, and the two of us were just laughing like crazy. But I mean, that could have been a pretty embarrassing situation.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So, what advice do you have for our young viewers?
Yeah, so I always loved to draw. That was my superpower in grade school and high school. I uh, I was not really good at the academic part of school, but I really excelled in art. I just loved it, and I got a lot of praise for being a good artist. And my advice is, if you love something, then just do it. Do it all the time, and just find ways to be creative, and read lots of. If you want to be a children's author and illustrator, read tons of books. Look at tons of books, and you might have one particular genre or one particular subject that you really love, like trucks or superheroes, or you like to draw dogs. Just try a little bit of some other uh, things to draw and different perspectives, from up above, or like a landscape, or a snowstorm, or some other ways to draw it, and just draw it really lightly, not lightly, but really small at first for your thumbnails, and then just keep working at it. And I look back at my illustrations from 10 years ago, and I'm like, I don't like them, but I did keep on trying, and I kept on trying, and I kept on taking classes, and I'm a lifelong learner, so I love learning new things and trying new different techniques.
Yeah.
That's great. Great advice. So you kind of talked about your cartooning process a little bit, and then like your earliest characters and your drawings. Anything else that you wanted to add to that?
Let me see, what do I have here? Oh, and when I was young, this is one thing I did save a lot of, I was big into like this whole make-believe worlds and stuff like that. And I made a lot of dollhouse furniture when I was a kid. That was my thing. Like,
That's fun.
my sisters and I had troll dolls, and so we made all these little costumes for them, and we made all these different worlds. So I took out some of my, like, these dolls that I made when I was a kid.
Ah, So you've always been creating.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my mom liked to sew, so I'm sure she helped me make these costumes, these little
That's awesome.
colonial people.
That's
And
neat.
so I found this little dollhouse that I made, like a dollhouse within a dollhouse. Like this is so cute. This is like this little,
Oh,
I know, just like little
that
beads.
is so cute.
Yeah, and I was doing after session for a while at school, and we just made tons of fairies. And just make believe worlds. I just love to do that, and love to do that with kids. It's just so fun. And so that's what I did. I did a lot of that with uh, when I was a kid. Is I would make believe worlds, and then in my mind I would just make up the stories that this is such and such, and this is what is happening. And I was really good. We used to have to do book reports, and we made dioramas, and
Hmm.
the teacher actually saved my diorama because she loved it so much. I think it was The Rescuers. So it had like these little mice characters, and it had like a real bottle in there to show the scale. And it was just, that was my thing. That was what I wanted to do the whole time. And then also a friend of mine made these dolls of my characters, my Lola and Louie characters. So here's
Oh,
Louie.
cute.
And here's
Aw.
Lola. Yeah,
Aw.
they're very sweet. Um, so I've always been into like um, building worlds, and also
Hmm.
making. One of my favorite things is making new characters. It's
Yeah.
just, it's fun. It's just a fun thing to do, and I want to do it all the time.
And you're
All
great at
right.
it.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you are.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
finish this sentence. My recent favorite graphic novel is,
Oh,
and I
so
know you shared some, so what's your
it's The
recent
Diary of
favorite?
a Pug.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh, I'm
My
gonna have to read
original,
that one.
I only, um, where's my Al Diaries? I mean, Al Diaries started it, right? So that was always,
Yeah, it's a whole series.
yeah,
We have a few.
and that's all that was available, a couple of years ago, was just
Yes.
Al Diaries, and they were brilliant. They were just so fun, and
Hmm.
I work at an all girls school, and they they just flew off the shelf. They couldn't get enough of them. And now Branches, especially Branches, has all these great early reader graphic novels. Or they're a little bit, they're like early chapter books.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's this Diary of the Pug is like, oh my gosh, I could read this all day.
They're
um,
My
such
kids
good
like
bridge.
those.
Yeah.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
Amelia Diaries, they were I think they were originally published in the American Girl magazine. Um, uh, I really liked those too. Whenever I go to a yard sale, I always look for either Harry the Dirty Dog books, or books from my childhood, or
Hmm.
I look for the Amelia series. And
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I really like those too. But I love going to the library and just picking out books and just seeing what's new and what's out there.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Same.
Yeah, yeah. It's the best.
Well, thank you, Barry, for hanging out with us today and sharing all of your creativity here on
Yeah.
Legit KidLit.
Yeah, to all of our readers, we hope you enjoyed this show and are inspired to pick up Barry's books. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll be
Yay.
back again next week with more fun.
Thank
Thank you
Bye.
you.
so much. See ya.